Hello, viewers. Welcome back to another episode of the Chitchat with your host Fatma Tajalo. I have a special guest today with me. I'll allow him introduce himself before going into the topic proper. Welcome, Mister.
Thank you very much, Fatima Jalo, and I'm glad to be part of the Chit Chat. So,
Please tell us your name.
I am Sirif Sirikan, Head of Journalism Department, Better Future Production.
Today, our topic of discussion will be on rape. What clicks your mind when you hear rape? It is a sexual assault, forcefully forcing yourself on the opposite gender. Sadikan, what comes to your mind when you hear rape?
First of all, on my own personal view, rape has broader definitions, but to cut it short, rape is not only a sexual offense, but it is also an act of violence against women. It causes or it leads the victim into degradation, shame, and humiliation. It has an adverse effects on the victim, and that it can cause traumatic situation on the life of the victim itself. If at all there is no routine process of healing, whereby there is a center that will provide the healing process, it can have an adverse effects too.
Why do you think men rape women, or why do you think other women rape? Men sometimes. Sometimes men are also victims, young boys, or
Yeah, you may see it at a very diverse range. Why men rape? I think it all boils down to our sexual discipline, because our sexual discipline sometimes it is higher. Most of the sexual disciplines in men and women, sometimes one can have a lower sexual discipline, but the way how you can control your sexual discipline, that each man or each human being is born with a feeling, but the way you control your sexual discipline defines you, and then your interactions can be limited to the opposite gender, that is the female, or the opposite female to the male gender. So one can say there is one sociologist who said that people who rape, they are maniac people, that people who are insane. But in later on, people started to develop a lot of definitions attached to rape. Why do men rape? Is it because of the insanity that is attached to it? But no, some say that it is, some base it on a sensual, to have a sensual pleasure, that is to satisfy their sexual gratifications. That's why men rape. But you can see at the other scale that women also, they rape too. They can find little boys around that they will be sodomizing, you know, at their own, satisfaction. So we can see the rise of lesbian movement now around the world, especially in the Western and African hemispheres, whereby you can see ladies, they don't have no feeling for men, you know, but they
and
can
they
have
take
feeling,
advantage of
advantage,
younger girls.
younger girls, and then they can go to the little boys too. They can have a lot of ways how to rape them.
Sure, and some people do it out of maybe they need the finance from the older women, like some guys. That is what makes them, you know, go after these older women. Or when once the older women come after them, they will just succumb to them because maybe they have this financial problem. So these older women mostly they are wealthy, so they will use that to influence and get to these young boys. Yeah, I think that is something that is troubling the people around too.
Absolutely, it has a varied length of um, consequences. Um, for instance, a rapist may have an emotional agenda, because any rapist, why the act of rape, must have a cause. Some may see it as a revenge. Some may do it as a revenge. But if the opposite gender did not consent herself or himself to you, then that is an act of rape. then whereby you use an act of force just to satisfy your sensual pleasure. But you can also use, many can use other means and other methods, if at all, like they are chasing after somebody for a very longer period, and then they cannot have any that will satisfy their heart or their emotional gratifications, then they act on differently, that is implying force upon or exerting force, and which is too bad. And
Sometimes it
the
might even be the dress code of the lady that drives the man to, rape her.
yeah, you, that context, the dress code, it has also many huge implications. Even in the Gambian context here, you can see young ladies that are coming up with their sweet ages, wearing mini skirts, you know, try to seduce men around. So that seduction can lead the man into a very dangerous emotional feeling. And then if the person cannot control his sexual discipline, may act or imply a force in you, either you like it or not. And then we see it around all over, even in the Gambia. We see in our mainstream societies, on our news bulletins, there's a rape, rampant high scale of rape in the Gambia. And it is, and the government in power or the past regimes are not, they have not done nothing that could at least minimize the situation of rape.
Okay, viewers, we'll just take a short break and show you some of the things people had to say on this rape issue.
Rape, okay, generally understood, is when a man forcefully have sexual intercourse with a woman against the woman's will. That is rape. In fact, some gender activists even went further to say, even your own wife, if you should force yourself on her, that tantamounts to rape. So generally, rape only takes place when the woman does not consent to it. And that's the common thing. But women also rape men. So if a woman also forces herself on a man against the man's will, that also tantamounts to rape.
When you look at rape generally, it's a form of sexual violence, and sexual violence in general, according to the WHO, will mean any sexual act or attempt done onto someone without the person's consent. So this involves a lot of other forms of sexual violence, which rape will be a part of, defilement will be a part of, because some of it do not generally have to be someone being forced. Exactly, it might be an attempt.
Rape takes place in isolated places, and in many cases, it happens in our homes. And the victims are always women, majority. I can say 99.9% victims of rape are women. And the places, like I said, is in our homes. And men take advantage of loneliness, and they sometimes entice the women to an extent that the woman, and most of the cases, it is not the adults, it's the younger ones. There are rape cases of as little as 9 years, 10 years, 12 years, most of the time.
When you look at rape generally, there is no specific place exactly where you say this is where it happens, this is where it doesn't happen. But like you said, majority of the cases happen. It happens in homes. Most of the cases you will hear from people reporting is that rape cases happen in homes, especially with people that are so close to the victim or that are so close to the person being raped. You understand? So most rape cases, especially in the Gambia, majority of it will have to be someone who is so close to the person, and it happens at homes. Maybe the person being raped is quiet or is lonely at home. Or maybe the person is in a confined place at home and the person has access to the person. But it happens in different settings. Regardless, there are different places it happens more than the others.
Welcome back, viewers. We've heard what they had to say. Sadikan, we'll just go deeper in the topic. I think that is here in the Gambia, but then the problem is parents. Once your child is raped, you just feel like, okay, maybe it's a family member, then you'll be like, please, let's just let this, let's just bury the hatchet here. Let's just let things cool. Maybe if it gets to police level, then it will bring a separation between the family. Don't you think that is a problem too, affecting the people in the Gambia? Because rape is something that is, if it's not even very very common, but it's something that happens here frequently, but then you won't hear it from anyone, and you won't you'll see the parents won't take the matter to the police or the the security.
Yeah.
They'll just tend to keep it privately, and I think that is making people do it more.
Yes, as you just rightly mentioned, the issue of maslaha, we put a lot of interest, and then we emphasize it very strongly, whereby we cannot deal with it. And then we have rape centers in the Gambia, but people are not cooperating with the rape center crisis to deal and resolve the matter, amicably, and then how they can closely work with to making sure that at least rape crisis in the Gambia, it is a matter that has been resolved once and for all.
Yes, there is this case of a child that was being raped, and at the end of the day, the rapist got scot-free, because from what the father said, he said they couldn't afford a proper lawyer to pay for a lawyer to continue with the case. So the case was just closed just like that. I think these are things that the people, like the less privileged people, should be helped with, because like for instance, the girl didn't have justice on that case.
Yeah, and then who are the most the victims? If you can see them, they are always vulnerable people who don't have the support. They are very disempowered to come up and speak their mind, and also they felt very shy to say what has been done to them, the rape that has been done to them, and this has adverse effects on the victim as a whole. And then when the victim feels disempowered, then there is no empowerment project to making sure that to uplift the mind and to make the healing process very smoother, to ensure that the victim has its process of healing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sadikan. I'm so pleased to have you here with me. What are your final remarks?
Thank you very much, Fatmata. My final remark is rape in all form is very degrading and is very inhumane. Either it's a woman who raped or it's a male who raped. Is very degrading and very inhumane. We need to also set up a task force committee, not only rape centers, but task force committee who will close in collaboration with these rape centers to making sure that they will find and also investigate rape crisis in the Gambia. It has to be investigated daily, monthly, yearly, year out, year in. We have to investigate rape if we want to resolve the rape crisis in the Gambia and around the world.
Thanks, viewers. This is all we had for you on the episode of the Chit Chat. See you next week. Bye-bye.